After about 3 weeks in Bulgaria, we finally decided to do a beach getaway weekend. We had been spending the month in Sofia, which is Bulgaria's biggest city, but it was kind of a quiet month because a lot of the locals were on holiday. So we did the same thing, at least briefly, and spent a couple days on a beach in Varna, up against the Black Sea. Actually, this was something on my mind even before coming to spend the month of August in Bulgaria. Before I came, I started talking to a friend of a friend who lives in Sofia, and he actually advised against spending too much time in the city because he said a lot of the locals would be at the seaside or up in the mountains. And this tracks with what I knew about the rest of Europe. I'd always heard that August is a big month to go on holiday. At a pub crawl in Sofia, we met a group of people who had just traveled around the seaside part of Bulgaria, and one of them highly recommended going to Nessebar. Forgive the pronunciation if that's wrong. It looked like a beautiful small town along the sea and the perfect place to spend a weekend. Unfortunately, all the buses going there were fully booked 2 weekends in a row, and we didn't really feel like renting a car and driving that far. So we settled on Varna. Now, Varna is not quite a small town. It's actually Bulgaria's third largest city with a metro area of 500,000 people. But it's easy enough to get there last minute on a bus, so hey, we'll take what we can get. So we booked an overnight bus and dropped Nala off at a pet hotel.
Wow, you remember this place?
We got some cocktails with some new friends from New Zealand who we had met the previous weekend in Istanbul, and then we were off to the bus station. By the way, hit that subscribe button if you want to see our adventures in Istanbul. I got a really good video coming after I finish all these videos from Bulgaria. All right, it's like 11 p.m. on Friday. Our bus to Varna leaves at midnight, gets us there at 6:15 a.m. I'm really hoping we fall asleep on the bus. I'm really not that great at sleeping on buses, but we figured the overnight bus was still the best option since it gives us an extra full day in Varna rather than spending 6 of our daylight hours on a bus. 2 hours into the ride, I still hadn't fallen asleep yet, but at least the whole bus had Baywatch to keep us entertained. Okay, I've never seen this movie and I couldn't read the Bulgarian subtitles, so I had no idea what's going on. All right, time to try sleeping again. It is 6 a.m. We just arrived in Varna after a 6-hour bus ride that left at midnight. I did not sleep much. I am exhausted. As we walked into town, honestly, I was just excited to take a nap. Luckily, our Airbnb host was generous enough to let us check in 9 hours early, so we wouldn't have to lug our bags around all day. The walk there wasn't too bad either. The streets were very empty and peaceful, and the sky had a really beautiful orange glow to it. After napping until 11 a.m., we hit the streets, and this time there were actually people out and about. And cats, of course. Always cats. And then, beach time.
We made it to the beach. We're in Varna. Yay!
The water felt super nice. So I am from a city that has plenty of beaches, but the water in Lake Michigan is always so cold, even in the summer months. But this Black Sea water was perfect. The sand felt nice, the water felt even better. The beach wasn't too crowded, so there was plenty of room to spread out. As long as I avoided a sunburn, life was good. All in all, it was a pretty uneventful afternoon. But after weeks of fun but exhausting adventures, uneventful was exactly what we were going for. As evening approached, we walked back into town past street performers, people having a good time, and people doing a fun little dance. Does this have a name? Is this some Bulgarian tradition? Let me know in the comments. After a nice outdoor candlelit dinner and a bit of wandering around the town, we headed to bed early, eager to catch the next sunrise. Neither of us are early risers, so leaving our place at 6 a.m. was a bit of a struggle. But we made it. At this time yesterday, we were getting off a bus after a night of no sleep. But now, here we were, watching the sun rise over that Black Sea horizon, listening to the waves crash onto the shore. Yeah, this was the better of the two mornings. And it got even better as the sun got higher in the sky. I mean, look at that. Okay, I know this looks kind of the same as a lot of other beaches, but still, great way to start a morning. Once the beach restaurants started opening, we decided to try and rent some chairs and an umbrella because you see this? This and direct sunlight do not mix. The first few places we checked out were fully booked for the day, but we eventually found one that would let us rent a spot, making today even more relaxing than yesterday. Or so we hoped. Around 11 a.m. I started getting hungry, which I thought was a solvable problem given that we were spending the day on chairs at a beach restaurant that served food. But I shit you not, this place had the worst service I have ever seen. Now, I don't mean the service was merely bad. I don't mean that it ranks among the worst. No, this place literally had the worst service I have ever seen. I'm gonna go on a little mini rant here, so just skip forward a few minutes if you want more beach. So when I started getting hungry, I figured step one, acquire menu. We spent like 20 minutes trying to flag someone down and could not get anyone's attention, even though the restaurant was fully open and serving food. So Lexi went up to the bar to get a menu, and they just told her to wait for the server to give us a menu, even though they had food menus there at the bar, so Lexi just grabbed one of those. She came back to our chairs, and then we waited for I don't even know how long until someone finally came to take our order. So we ordered the food we want, some cocktails, and also a Coke. We got our cocktails pretty quickly, but 20 or 30 minutes later, the guy came back to tell us that they're out of the food we ordered. Which, okay, fine, that happens. So we ordered something else and mentioned that we're still waiting on that Coke. The server acknowledges that he understands that Lexi hadn't gotten her Coca-Cola yet, and he walks away. Another roughly half hour later, he comes back again, still with no Coke, and tells us that they're out of the second thing we ordered. I'll spare you the rest of the details, but when all was said and done, there was about a 3-hour gap between wanting to order food and actually getting the food. Once we finally put in an order for something they actually had, the food came out pretty quickly, so this wasn't like a backed up kitchen situation. And that Coke, it finally came about 45 minutes after Lexi ordered it. Right, like just a simple bottle of Coca-Cola that someone just had to grab out of the fridge. 45 minutes. I hate to just sit here and complain, but what was supposed to be a relaxing afternoon just turned into me thinking about how hungry I was. And I wish I had just known how bad the service would be, because I would have happily walked into town, gotten lunch at another restaurant, and come back. Like, that all would have been way faster. After all that, I looked up reviews for this place, and yeah, I'm not alone here. I felt a lot better once I had food in me, and the rest of the day was pretty awesome. Great weather, the sea felt great, and we had an umbrella, which made being in the sunlight a lot more comfortable. Once I stopped being hangry, it turned into a very pleasant afternoon. And same with the evening. We walked past some ancient ruins on the way to an amusement park to catch the sunset.
We in Varna, sunset Ferris wheel. After a beach day, beach weekend.
Ooh, beach
Ooh,
is
it's
there.
bright. Oh, we can see beach. Ooh.
I'm 31 years old, and I think this is actually the first time I've seen both a sunrise and a sunset on the same day. I should do this more often.
Look at that sunset.
I wasn't expecting much from this area and really just came to watch the sunset, but wandering around the amusement park and the pier area nearby made for a really lovely evening. All in all, this was a fantastic weekend, and I'm really glad we did this. Sure, we might not have made it to the smaller town we originally wanted to go to, but hey, that just gives us somewhere else to go next time we're in Bulgaria. Assuming we actually, plan ahead next time. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.